Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Jenny raised after increased activity. That's our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Monday, March 12th. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Nicole Best. Good evening. There has been increased activity at the underwater volcano of the north of Grenada, Sikkim Jenny, prompting officials to raise the alert level to orange. The National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA, in Grenada said on Monday afternoon that the alert was raised by the Seismic Research Center of the University of the West Indies, which had observed the activity. The orange alert means there are highly elevated levels of seismic or fumarolic activity, and eruption may begin with less than 24 hours notice. At this heightened alert level, ships and other marine operators are to observe a 5-kilometer or a 3.1-mile exclusion radius. NADMA says it will continue to monitor the situation with the assistance of the UWI Seismic Research Center. Still in Grenada, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell says recent tests have shown that a significant amount of oil and gas has been discovered in the island's territorial waters. In June last year, Parliament approved the Hydrocarbon Exploration Incentive Bill 2017, which outlines a package of incentives for oil and gas exploration. But the main opposition, National Democratic Congress, NDC, has dismissed the announcements as a political gimmick. While speaking at the final rally of his new national party on Sunday, Prime Minister Mitchell said the Russian-based Global Petroleum Group, the GBG, had conducted the necessary exploration activities.
The report said that we have found significant gas and oil in the waters of Grenada in one well so far. Sisters and brothers, you know what that means for your future? It means a lot for the future of this country. Sisters and brothers, one well. We have several more wells which are even more exciting than the one they just found. In other words, Grenada can be a massive supplier of oil and gas.
Well, as you heard earlier, the main opposition, National Democratic Congress, the NDC, has dismissed the announcement as a political gimmick. It says it was well known years ago that the island had a significant amount of oil and gas, and nothing was done about it before.
They knew this from 1980 when the Russian Academy of Sciences came to Grenada and conducted a survey. Dr. Mitchell did not take any steps since 1995 to bring home the oil. In 2004, Dr. Mitchell engaged a gentleman called Greenberg in America and gave Mr. Greenberg the right to explore and exploit all of our oil and gas, our entire marine acreage, over 11,000 square kilometers of water, to explore and exploit our entire marine acreage. And the charge for that, sisters and brothers, was $19,000 US a year. That is less than $1,600 US a month. They want to come on the eve of an election and try and tell you that they find oil. In other words, sisters and brothers, they want to try to tell you that only Keith Mitchell and the New National Party know what to do with oil, and that we will not be able to drill our oil. We will not be able to exploit our oil unless you vote for the New National Party on Tuesday. Tell them, sisters and brothers, Tom drunk, but Tom not a fool.
Barbados' Prime Minister Frondell Stewart has defended his decision not to announce a date for general elections even after his administration allowed the parliament to be dissolved automatically last week. Addressing a meeting of his ruling Democratic Labour Party on Sunday night, Stewart said allowing the life of the parliament to run out on March 6th was part of a plan.
He did not dissolve it deliberately. And of course, the experts have been giving expressions to their surprise. This is the first time in Barbados' history that a parliament was allowed to stand dissolved by effluxion of time. That is how history is made. History is not made by things happening the same way all the time. History is made by doing things differently.
But Prime Minister Stewart assured that he would act in accordance with the law and call elections by the constitutionally due time.
So the parliament stands dissolved, and we have 90 days within which to have a general election in this country. According to Section 36, I think it is, of the Representation of the People's Act, there has to be polling day, nomination day, and not fewer than 14 or not more than 21 days later, there has to be polling day. And I can assure you that all of that is going to happen.
Meantime, Education Minister Ronald Jones has accused the Canadian diplomat of interfering in Barbados' political affairs, and he went as far as to suggest that she would be recalled. Last Thursday, while addressing an event to mark an International Women's Day, Canada's High Commissioner to Barbados, Marie Lagarde, dismissed concerns about the readiness of Barbados for a female prime minister. The main opposition Barbados Labour Party is led by a woman, Mia Mottley. In a direct challenge to a female political commentator who said that there needs to be a national debate on whether the country is ready for a female prime minister, the Canadian High Commissioner said the Caribbean had already produced 4 female heads of government and 5 heads of state, and there was room for more. Her comments did not go down well with Jones, who chastised her at the DLP meeting.
You should be asked to leave or your government. Your government should tell you, come home. You have interfered in the domestic political affairs of Barbados. Back your Georgie bundles. How dare you? Unlike young Trudeau in Canada. But I ain't going up there and tell anybody vote for you. You hear good, Bajan? I'm not going over there and say to any Canadian, go and vote for him. So how dare you, in the honor visited upon you by your government, come to our country and interfere in the domestic political agenda of Barbados?
About 80% of Cubans registered to vote cast ballots in parliamentary elections on Sunday. They voted to ratify a new National Assembly, which is an important step in selecting a president to succeed the 86-year-old Raul Castro, who is stepping down from power. A presidential election in Cuba is carded for April 19th, and it would be the first time in 60 years a member of the Castro family won't be seeking leadership.
The voting process began all through the country at 7 o'clock in the morning. Just 4 hours after, 11 o'clock, 45% of the Cubans with the rights to do so had used their constitutional privilege in more than 24,000 polling stations. The President of the Council of State of Cuba, Raul Castro Ruz, was the first electorate in exercising his voting power at number 1 polling station in the Segundo Frente Oriental municipality in the province of Santiago de Cuba, where he had been nominated to Congressman of the Cuban National Assembly of People's Power. Nearly at the same time, the second secretary of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of Cuba and Vice President of the Council of State, José Ramón Machado Ventura, also exercised his rights to vote in the city of Guantánamo, his former homeland. Machado Ventura pointed out the cultural quality and high educational level of the candidates and deputies that were being submitted to the voting process. In the meantime, the first Vice President of the Council of State, Díaz-Canel Bermúdez, ended an interview with the national press affirming that voting in this election implied commitment with the revolution, which is being attacked and threatened by the USA, who has approved measures that are offensive and harmful to millions of people inside and outside the country. The present-day chairman of the Cuban National Assembly of People's Power, Esteban Lazo Hernández, after exercising his rights to vote, highlighted the good training of the electoral authorities on this working Sunday, in which the Cubans have shown their unity in backing up with votes the sustainability of a socialist revolution.
Siempre estaremos unidos porque siempre tendremos revolución.
According to the National Electoral Commission, at 5:00 p.m. this Sunday, a partial sum-up in the ballot boxes showed that 78.57% of the voters had used their constitutional rights. This is nearly 7 million Cubans out of more than 8 million entitled to vote.
And still to come in Caribbean Newsline, the Bahamas surprised and disappointed at a pending tax haven label. Stay with us. There's more news after the break.
Follow your heart to the 22nd Annual St. Kitts Music Festival from June 27th to July 1st, 2018. Featuring Kester Band, Sizzla Lungi, Small Axe Band, Nyla Blackman, and Betty Wack. Also, Patti LaBelle, Dijon, New Vibes International, Rhythm of the Beat, and Wayne Wonder. Vibes, August Alsina, Aishona, Byron Messiah, Dasha, Shaka Dimas and Pliers, and Miss Lauren Hill. Save the date and book now for the 22nd Annual St. Kitts Music Festival, an experience like no other.
Hello and welcome to Caribbean Vibrations, TV's #1 Caribbean show. I'm your host and guide, Alan, and today we're coming to you from aboard the Celebrity Summit as we get ready to embark on a Southern Caribbean cruise and show you some amazing properties that you can buy.
The fourth stop on our Caribbean real estate tour is the island of Barbados, where we got to visit Port Ferdinand Marina and luxury residences in St. Peter.
The European Union is moving to name the Bahamas as a tax haven, and the government says it's surprised and disappointed. Finance Minister Peter Turnquest, who's also Deputy Prime Minister, said his government has learned that the EU Code of Conduct Group will be making a recommendation this week to include the Bahamas on the EU list of non-cooperative jurisdictions for tax purposes. But he says the move is particularly surprising since the Bahamas has consistently been engaged with the OECD and the Code of Conduct Group on the the EU listing criteria as recently as last week. Last week, international media reports indicated that St. Lucia would be among several nations to be removed from the list of tax havens. Teachers in Jamaica on Monday began industrial action to show their dissatisfaction with government's wage increase offer. Several public primary secondary schools were affected as teachers stayed away from the classroom. It had been reported over the weekend that the educators were planning to stay off the job for 3 days. They are not happy with the 16% wage increase over 4 years, but the government insists it's the best it can do. We get more from Andrea Chisholm of TVJ News.
In a release from the Office of the Prime Minister on Sunday, the government reiterated it cannot improve the wage offer to public sector workers. To satisfy the demands, the government said it would have to increase taxes, and such an increase would have a bad impact on the economy. In his budget presentation on Thursday, the Finance Minister announced there would be no new taxes in the upcoming fiscal year. Meanwhile, the Education Ministry has taken note of the possible 3-day sick-out by teachers, saying it has put contingency plans to ensure the safety and security of students in 750 primary and junior high schools and 171 high schools. Regional response teams are on standby alert to take charge of classes tomorrow, Monday, March 12. At the end of the day, students will be sent home with an advisory indicating whether or not school will reopen on Tuesday.
Parents with students at special education schools and departments, as well as infant schools and infant departments, will be alerted through the media, telephone calls, and the school SMS to collect their children at school as soon as they are advised of industrial action. They'll be further advised whether they are to keep their children home for the period of the industrial action.
Prominent St. Vincent and the Grenadines jurist Justice Adrian Saunders will be the third president of the Caribbean Court of Justice, the CCJ. He will replace Sir Dennis Byron at the helm of the Trinidad-based court that was established in 2001 to replace the London-based Privy Council as the region's final court. Sir Byron, who is due to leave office on July 4th, made the announcement at the 10th annual CCJ International Law Moods competition in Trinidad over the weekend. Earlier this month, Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley confirmed that the issue had been discussed at the CARICOM Intersessional Summit in Haiti, and regional leaders had agreed to Justice Saunders' nomination. He has been a CCJ judge since the court's inception. Trinidadian Michael de la Bastide was the first person to head the CCJ. And ahead in Newsline Sport, West Indies secure their fourth straight victory in the ICC World Cup qualifiers. Stay with us. Sport is next.
Follow your heart to the 22nd Annual St. Kitts Music Festival from June 27 to July 1st, 2018. Featuring Kester Band, Sifa Mulonji, Small Axe Band, Nyla Blackman, and Betty Wack. Also, Patti LaBelle, Dijon, New Vibes International, Rhythm of the Beat, and Wayne Wonder. Vibes, August Alsina, Aishona, Byron Messiah, Dasha, Shaka Dimas, and Pliers, and Miss Lauren Hill. Save the date and book now for the 22nd Annual St. Kitts Music Festival, an experience like no other.
My name is John I. James, and I used to attend Jamaica College. Projects is a young, multi-genred artist, is it? I'm a musician. Fresh sounds, you know, like sonically speaking, like fire, you know, a whole heap of style, everything, you know, in one, into music.
Not only law enforcement seems incapable of dealing with a crime situation, but by separating out intelligence from the JCF, which is the Jamaica Constabulary Force, then they're handicapping the JCF even more, unless there will be some mechanism for gathering, analyzing, and sharing.
West Indies are inching closer to qualification for the ICC World Cup after securing their 4th straight victory in the qualifiers. This time it was a 52-run win that crashed the Netherlands out of the tournament on Sunday. Batting first, the Caribbean side raced to a competitive first innings total of 309 for the loss of 6 wickets. Man of the match Evan Lewis top scored with a brilliant knock of 84, while Marlon Samuels remained unbeaten on 73. Rovman Powell and Chris Gayle also made some significant contributions with the bat as they added 50 and 46 runs, respectively. Paul van Meekeren and Roloff van der Merwe picked up 2 wickets each for the Netherlands. Here are the highlights.
That's in the air and over mid-off. Bang, and away it goes. A long way for 6. That'll go further. It'll go all the way over the boundary. There's a man back there. Oh, he can only watch it sail. Oh, goodness. He's in a hurry. He's decided he's just playing shots. Yep, 6. Oh, nice. And that's gone all the way to 2 in a row. Oh, wow! That has cleared the long boundary with ease.
Miscued again. This will be a difficult one if he gets to it. Good catch to the Super 6 phase, but that's going to travel all the way and paid the price. 50 comes up for Evan Lewis.
Got him! Van der Merwe is the man.
Oh, what a shot. That's going to go all the way.
That's a superb catch.
Oh, there you go. Wicket number 4.
Another very good catch from Van der Merwe.
Oh, that's got through. What a shot that is. And then brings up 50. Oh, that's high. Seelar makes his way back, but can't go back far enough.
Kingma. That's gone. Gone for 6 again, and it's 50 for Rovman Powell. It's a big side of the ground. It takes a lot of muscle to clear that area. Well bowled. They should run 2. Because of the start the West Indies got from Lewis and Gayle, they have put a demanding total on the board of 309 for 6.
Chasing a revised target of 222, the Netherlands could only muster 167 for 6 following a downpour at the Harare Sports Club. All-rounder Ryan ten Duchat had a superb unbeaten knock of 67, while opening batsman Wesley Barisi was run out on 64. Fast bowler Kemar Roach and Keswick Williams and spinner Ashley Nurse picked up 1 wicket each.
Finds the gap to the longest part of the ground. This should be easy run out chance. Perfectly bowled, accuracy.
What a shot that is. Oh, beautiful. Delicate again, was that a chance? That's brought up Baresi's 50 in the air. It's gone all the way. Smashed away. He's found that gap.
It's delicately done. And that's his 50 as well.
It's still a whole lot to do, though, from this position. Oh, it's a right hit. I tell you what, that's gone. It's the free hit. It's going to go straight up in the air. They're thinking run 2, and they'll get back for 2. Oh, well, they won't get back. It's another run out. Oh, gone.
Slow ball should be a simple catch. Chris Gale settles under it.
And we have a result. The inclement weather has come in and cut short the proceedings of this entertaining encounter under the Duckworth-Lewis Stern method. The Netherlands, well, they struggled and can progress no further in the match.
Meanwhile, the right-handed batsman Rovman Powell said he was elated with his maiden one-day international but was keeping his focus firmly fixed on ensuring West Indies qualify for next year's ICC World Cup in England. The 24-year-old struck 101 off 100 balls as the Windies trounced the previously unbeaten Ireland by 52 runs last Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. I'm feeling good about my performance. You know, a lot of hard work have been done behind closed doors, you know, so I'm definitely elated at this moment. Definitely, it means a lot, you know, putting on the West Indies clothes, trying my very best to get West Indies to yet another World Cup. And it was a boyhood dream, you know, to play for West Indies. So imagine scoring a century for West Indies. The picture is for us to get the team to the World Cup. You know, we're not letting it slip our hands. You know, we're holding this opportunity with both hands and ensure that at the end of the day, West Indies go to the World Cup.
Well, Powell's role was even more important after West Indies stuttered to 83 for 5 in the 19th over. After being sent in, he initially curbed his natural attacking instinct to add 86 for the 6th wicket with captain Jason Holder, who stroked 54 off 71 deliveries. The innings was even more special for Powell as it came at the ground where he made his international debut 17 months ago.
It wasn't a bad wicket, you know, it was a little bit tacky, but it was an acceptable wicket. You know, also it's the ground that I made my international debut on. You know, I played here against Sri Lanka about a year and a half ago, and I think that was a good debut. And now for me to come back on the very same ground and score my first 100, it's pleasing.
And that's the sport. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
So is there anyone in the industry that has, you know, spoken to you, motivated you in any kind of way?
It's a couple of people, a couple of labels.
I know you did open up for Lil Wayne, right?
Yeah. I got a chance to speak with him backstage in Fort Myers. You know, that's one of my idols right there. You know what I'm saying? And a couple of labels that we went, you know, knocked on their door and talked and got advice and talked to A&R reps and.
Again, the major developments of this day: alert level at the underwater volcano of Grenada, Kikem is raised to orange after seismic officials notice increased activity. And in sport, West Indies inch closer to qualification for the ICC World Cup after securing their 4th straight victory in the qualifiers. This time it was against the Netherlands. That's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sport around the clock, log on to KanaNews.com. We'll be back here again tomorrow. But from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching and do have yourselves a good night.